Alright everyone, welcome back for another map tutorial for Acceleracers. This one is going to be a big one. We're doing the Desert Realm. So I do want to go with something that hopefully everyone should have. I'm gonna go with Nightburner for this. Yes, it's possible you don't have it. If you don't have it, pretty much any car works fine here. My preference for Nightburner comes purely from the fact that it is harder to roll, so it gives you a little, that stability is helpful in the long run. So here we go. Alright, to start with, Desert Realm is quite nice and easy. Just stick to the track as best you can. If you are trying to go fast, just drive alongside these little bits of track. There's no sand there as far as I'm aware. And, you know, you keep your speed up quite nice and easily. Fair bit of a distance between these two. This section is all the easy section, so that's fine. This is one of those tracks that gets harder as you go. That's because it's easy to memorize the start. So you got that quick right turn there. And yeah, I don't think at any point you really need to be on the track. So here, you can just cut again. But also, it is just safe to use the track as a marker. So being on the track does give you those arrows on the track to actually point you in the right direction. But from here, you want to go to this big rock formation. It is a bit of a drive. If you're using Nitrox, feel free to use it here. You don't have to. I'm not going to, just because I might be resetting. I've only completed this track once. So while I'd say I do know my way around, the last section is quite difficult. So you come out of the rocks and you've got this piece of track here. And then here you've got another piece of track just over the hill. Alright, now it gets hard from this point onwards, it gets more difficult. Especially this part here. This section here, you just want to drive straight and you're driving blindly. You cannot see what's going on. If you make a mistake and you're a little too far left, you won't know till it's too late. There is a bit of a crevice here, you want to be able to slow down so you're not going too fast, because if you hit it too fast, you're in trouble. See, I was a little too far to the left there. I'm lucky I didn't hit quicksand. And we got a bit of track here. You cut this one a little short just to not get the bumps, because the track is all bumpy and it's not ideal for driving on in most situations. Alright, from here you want to go right and head up to these rocks, this rock and track formation here. Now it looks like you're supposed to drive through the track, but you can't actually cut this one. I mean, you meant to drive. It looks like you're supposed to drive through the rocks, but you can cut it, so that's not too bad. From here, you want to go between these two pillars. There's no actual track here. You'll notice that there are these little arrows and stuff, like little just bits that stick up. Those are the bits you should aim for. Or those bits tell you which way to go. So generally, if that's on the left of a rock, you want to go left of that rock. From here, there's a piece of track here. Now, I don't know about the left side, I haven't tested it, but I know the right side is very safe. So take the right side, that's where the rock points anyway. That's where this next section of track is. Now, the track points you to the right here, but if you look to the left, you'll see there's an archway sort of thing there. So generally, if there's two rocks like this, you generally want to go between them. That's usually how it works. Now from here, there is Jump Rock. Jump Rock is a really good marker for this section because there's no other markers. So go to Jump Rock. You don't have to drive over Jump Rock. You can just go around it. Oh, you can't go on Jump Rock yet. I thought it was moved down. It hasn't been moved down just yet. But it will be. That's something count we're moving down. So you'll be able to drive off that. Don't hit it with too much speed. It looks like it's a different surface, so it'll spin you out. But this area is nice and open, so the jump's not going to put you in the quicksand. You got to keep that camera up so you can see this section coming up, and just go through here. Again, the bumpy tracks, the way they go up and down so much, are quite a menace to drive on. So avoid them if you can. And then we come up here. But they're not too bad. Next we're going in here. Now this area does kind of just like have that little inside section, just as long as you're in all the rocks in between it all. Come out between these, you should be okay. Should be a piece of track just up ahead, just head to that. I don't know what that is. It might be a misdirection. I'm not sure. Don't trust it. Now, this section here, the track splits, but it's very hard to notice that the track also splits that way. There's a arrow, or not an arrow, but like a pointer on the right there. When you see that, that is a suggestion, go right. I will go left briefly just to show you something, because I can get out of it. So we're going left here to this bit of track. Now, driving up here. Now this section of track here, unfortunately, leads you straight to quicksand. That is quicksand there. If you do hit this though, fortunately, if your game's not freezing up, you can just boost your way out of it. So that's not too bad. You can just, for that, this section here is mostly fine to drive on. So you just drive past it. But I'm not going to take you that way. I have less experience that way and it does get confusing. So we're going to go back this way. We're going to take the right path. So just so we can see where the track is. So you'd come up here. And then we're looking back at this big rock and we're going to go right. There's a bit of track there. It's a little hidden. You don't know it's there. So it's very easy to make that mistake. Try to avoid it. This path is easier. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. Now here we got another rock. I forget where to go from here. I think we just go this way. I think. Yep, we do. So that was just a case of getting lost. It's very easy to get lost. There's not really any identifying factors there. I think you can take both sides of that one. Yeah, you can. You can take both sides of that one. Now you come out here, and it sends you up this way. And so here again, we've got nothing. We don't really have any markers. Luckily, there's a piece of track here. So sometimes you just got to take it easy. If you don't know where you're going, eventually the track will lead you the right way. Now this one is pretty much pointing me straight at those two pillars there, so that's what I'm going for. I'm going to go between these two, because that's generally the right way if it's a section where you can go between two towers. So I've gone between these. And if you continue on here, there's a rock there. So head towards that rock till you can see a second one. Go between these rocks. It's nothing too difficult. So between the two rocks, and then that one is curved to the right. It's fallen a bit to the right, so that's the way to go for the next one. So you go here and you'll eventually see the track. You'll see an area that you were earlier, just off to the right. Oh no. And don't do this. Rough. Alright, welcome back. So not stopping to explain everything has seemingly done me wonders. Because I've gotten back here in about half the time. Maybe a bit over. So it is something I can do a little faster. Now, again, this time I'm going to avoid the track because the track was the problem there. Touching the track is what threw my car. You come in here. Now, this one you want to take the left side, but again, you just go between the two pillars. You will eventually see this bit of track. The bit of track is the safe route here. I would avoid that one though, because that's a bit wonky and will just throw your car, as with this one. Generally, you can see them coming up that they're going to be wonky. You just want to go between those two rocks and head off to this piece of track in the distance. This one seems uncomfortably long for an open stretch of road, but as long as you just keep self-pointed at this bit of track, you should be fine. Now, actually, while I'm here, I will try to show you what it looks like when there is quicksand. Because in a lot of areas, you can spot it before you hit it. And I was sure I saw some. I may have been wrong. Here we go. See how there's like a bit of a drop there? How it just suddenly cuts out and drops, you can definitely see there is a bit of a ledge there, and the ledge will sometimes stick out a bit. Now the quicksand is just before that, so as long as you're avoiding those ledges, you will never hit, not never, but you shouldn't hit quicksand. So if you see those, avoid them. Don't get close. I've once tried to just ride along the outside, just fall in. So it's not the exact marker, but it is a marker. So if you see those, just know to avoid it. Now again, we've got a piece of track ahead. So this is where it starts getting more difficult, because there's longer jumps between everything and it starts to get a bit iffy as to whether or not you go the right way. This one kind of leads to the right, so you want to take the right side. Now you want to start heading towards that building there in the distance, but not directly towards it, because as you get up this hill, you'll see that you can go between them. If you head straight for that thing, you will fall in the sand. So let's head this way. And then this part here, these two have pillars atop them, I believe, or it might just be the one has the pillar atop. Either way, that's the one you want to take. Now you come out here, and this is where it gets a bit tricky. I think there's this big sweeper looking rock, there's a piece of track to the left. So I've done something wrong there because I've come out way in the wrong spot. That's alright, you can just drive back. It's a fairly safe-ish area in that area. Now you kind of want to stay alongside Sweeper Rock, and as I said, the track just gets more and more difficult from here. Alright, I'm back here. So, just going back to the next section. See if we can't fix this. Ooh, quicksand does start just off to the right there. That's alright, so we come up this hill. And we've got track. Now, this time we're going under the concept that the track is lying to us here. Yeah, I've only made it past here one time. I can see the quicksand there now that I've actually driven off of it already, so that's not so bad. So from here, that piece of track, don't follow its arrow so much. Its arrow is incorrect, it does kind of spit you off into the sand. So we're going to drive along a bit here and see. We're going to take it easy. If you're ever unsure with this track, take it easy, drive slow. You should usually have enough warning and always be ready if you're using with it, whatever your device, even if you're in automatic, always be ready to hit downshift. Just spam that downshift until you see that R and then boost in that direction. Alright, now we're driving towards this pillar by the looks of it. I'm having a look over here just to see if I can see track or quicksand. Alright, there's no track. There's probably quicksand. So we're going to keep going this way, going straight. I'm going a little faster than I should be for this. I feel like this pillar is the only structure in sight, so that's why I'm heading for it. It's a very long drive to get to it. The worst part is not seeing quicksand anyway, because that means you don't know if you're in the right spot or not. Now this pillar tells me nothing. The reason I'm picking the right side of this pillar is that's because where the shadow is. And that's it. That's the only thing I'm using here. Oh, it looks to be not just shadow, but also rock. Well, that's probably just the model that he's used for the shadow. Alright, here we've got a hill. Best thing to do here is get to the top of the hill and see what we can see. see a piece of track in the distance, but it looks like the arrow on it might be facing this way. So I might stick right a bit and see how we go. Now, the last section of the track is a straight run. It is a very long straight run. Downside is, there's not really any way to be sure that you're on that last section. So I've been at this for half an hour, almost. It's going to be half an hour before I finish it at this rate. Is that quicksand right there? That looks to be quicksand. That is quicksand right there. Okay. So we're going to keep going straight. I can see where the quicksand is up ahead, just off to the left there. You can see the bit of sand. It's just a bit higher. Because it's all quicksand with normal sand, like half a car higher. Just over the top. Now if we get up here, that's the portal. Now, rumour has it that it's not a straight run, but I'm going to pretend it is and I'm going to go for it. Now, if this isn't a straight run, we will have it on video that it's not a straight run, but it looks like it should be from this section onwards. So once you can see the portal, you should be able to drive straight to it. That's my theory anyway. It is a very long trip, and I've basically made it. And there we go, guys. That's the Desert Realm. Now, I'm not just going to end it there, though. I'm going to go again, and I'm going to try and do it faster than half an hour. Let's see how fast I can do it. Just with all this, using all the skills that I've gone through, I will try and talk about what I'm doing. So again, avoiding the track here. The track is bumpy. It's not as smooth as the desert, as the sand. Just avoid it where you can. You don't have to. But rather than go slow over a piece of bump, it's just easier to just skip it. Again, we're going to just try and skip it here. I don't think I've actually ever completed these runs where I try and do the track again quicker. I think I did on water actually. I'm going to use a little bit of juice here, just because it is a long straight and it's uphill. Now you want to watch out for that bump there, just because that bump will send your car flying. Now for this one, I do recommend going over it if possible. It's not that big a bump, but I'm cutting it because I'm a little more confident in what I'm doing. But, you know, cutting it risks doing that. So you know how I said I'm cutting it? I was wrong. I should not have cut it. I went the wrong way because of it. It's very easy to go a bit left there if you make that mistake. Always try and go a bit more right. The right side is far more forgiving. I will try that again though. Just one more try. Because that was an early stage. I messed up early in the run. That's not so bad. It's really demoralizing when you're at the end of the track. You know, when you've already been going for 5 to 20 minutes. There I was like less than 2 minutes in, it's fine. Just a little bit of boost. But honestly guys, if you can get yourselves Nightburner and unlock it, it'll help you a lot as a new player. Even now it is one of my favourite cars in the game, just because it is such an easy vehicle to drive, and I feel like it's easy to unlock. Its hiding spot isn't too bad. Alright, this time I'm actually going to take this piece of track, so I'm going the right way, and then I'm going to go a little to the right. Where is it? Okay. A little too far right, but that's fine. As I said, the right side is far more forgiving. We're going to cut through all this section here. Turn. One problem with this car is it doesn't turn very well, but it's fine. Now, as much as I'd love to be nitroxing here, it's just not really worthwhile because there's just more straight sections later on where I can take full advantage of the nitrox. Now here I want to take the right of this track, just because otherwise the track will just put you into the rock. And then we're going to take the track of this part. I was going to say the left, but unfortunately I wasn't on the inside enough. We go straight for these pillars. We're 2 minutes in. Going straight for jump rock, and again we take the right side of jump rock. Oh, I've gone a bit wide there. You got to be careful because it does get a little close to the sand. Use a bit of nitrox here, just because this is a long straight section. And then you come up through this and into this little village looking area. Whoops. See? Stable car, stable car. Doesn't roll. It's quite nice. And then we're heading for this piece of track. I'm going to cut the left side of it to immediately turn right. This one's fine to drive over. The bump isn't too bad. Just waiting for it to prove me wrong. Take the left side of this one for no reason other than the fact that I have track knowledge and know that that's where I need to go. Here, this piece of track will also spit you around a bit, so watch out, as will this one. Stable car stops that from being too much of a concern. It's just a mere shake up rather than a full-on synchro flip out. Right, through these two rocks here and off to this one that's curved a bit to the right, I believe. Oh no, it's not. It's through these first. Those ones are one of the worst parts of the track because you can't see them till you get over the hill, so you don't know where you're going. Just aim for this rock, you'll see them. Alright, then we're going to take the inside here. We don't want to hit that bump and throw ourselves into the sand again. We don't want to cut too inside because it's quite possible that there is quicksand there. This one we can cut. Next one we can cut. Then we want the right side of this one, just purely to keep ourselves a decent racing line. Here is a long straight, so we can use a little bit of nitrox to get our speed up. We're going to take the inside of this. Ooh, car kind of curved right a little there, which nearly put me into the worst part of the track, which will just throw you. Those grey bits on the outside. Take the right side of that rock, and then we're going for in between these two bits here. Not a worry. Now that bit there, the pillar, tells us to go to the right, so that's where we're going. Everything else is a misdirection. And then we're going over here. Should be tracked to the left. Now this is the part where it gets a little tricky, because that tells you to go that way. We gotta ignore it. We gotta go this way. Yeah, this part here is just mostly luck. This could work, this could fail. It was the latter. So at 5:40 my run is over. I needed to be a bit more left. I think that section is very misleading, personally. If Kat's watching this, then I would suggest fixing that up and having some sort of marker just at the hill, top of the hill there, because I had no idea where I was going. And I just hoped for the best. Apparently I should have been more to the left, but there's no way to know. You can, see that pillar there is where I had to get to, but how to get there is the hard part. And the rock tells you nothing. The track tells you nothing. It's just a bit rough, because that's a huge run killer there, just not knowing where to go. And yes, eventually you do fall through the map. Anyway, that's the Desert Realm. It is not as, I would say it's not as hard as the Ice Realm. It's definitely number 2. But it's longer. It is a longer track, and that is what a lot of people don't like about it, is that it gets longer and it's a lot of randomness that makes you fail. But Ice Realm is just strictly harder to stay on the track, and I think that makes Ice Realm a bit worse. But Desert Realm is absolutely a difficult track. Anyways, thanks for watching. I think I really need to redo my Cliffside one, because I didn't even finish the track, did I?